I don't care. Say whatever you want. I don't have any
Okay, good.
ifs, ands, or
Yeah.
buts about anything. So thanks for
Okay,
joining
good.
me, first of all. I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy
Thank
man.
you for having me.
Lots of stuff going on. And I
Mhm.
was contacted about, and don't say anything about how I say about. I'm Canadian. I
I'm
ran into that
Canadian.
issue. Oh, nice. Okay. Where are
I'm
you
from
from?
BC.
Okay.
BC, northern BC.
I'm from near Toronto, unfortunately. And
Oh, okay.
I was on a show last week, and I didn't realize till after it was done. I watched a part of it, and I said about, and then they were whispering,
Yeah.
"Did he just say a boot?" And I was like, "Okay, this is."
You know what? I've been in the U.S. for a while. I still have the accent. I still got it.
I think like
It only
Michigan and
sticks with you a little
Wisconsin's
bit.
way worse.
Oh my God. I have a friend who's in Michigan. Or actually, I don't even know. He sounds more Canadian than me.
Yeah,
He sounds
Wisconsin.
way more. Yeah, whiskey. Yeah. He is just like, I don't even know. He's never been to Canada in his life. He sounds so Canadian. It is crazy.
Yeah, I tell them that the guys that I meet from there, I'm
Yeah.
like, "You're basically Canadian." So
Yeah.
what I learned about you is that
Yeah.
obviously you're a big streamer, and someone that is also a big streamer for the layman's out there had a problem with one of your positions. So correct me where I'm wrong on the story. It's Valorant you play a lot of, which is a
Hmm.
shooter,
Hmm.
and do they expect you, or the powers that be, whomever that is, to play or participate in certain tournaments or streams or something? Set up how people can understand what the issue was here and why people were coming after you.
Well, I mean, as far as the game goes, you join a random queue, and you're in a game with 9 other people. And depending on how much you win, depending on how well you play, depending on if you lose, how bad you are, you keep ranking up. You rank up, you rank
Mm-hmm.
up, you get to the top of the leaderboard. So at that time, I kind of stopped playing Valorant for a bit. So I play CounterStrike as well. I was a pro CounterStrike player for years, um, and then when Valorant came out, I started playing Valves. But yeah, that's kind of the higher you get, the higher you get on the leaderboard. And at that time, I was really high up on the leaderboard.
So when this happens, from what I've read, you didn't want to join. Was it like a room or like a
It was
production
just
with
a
certain?
game.
It was just the game.
Just a
So
game. Just a game.
okay,
Yeah.
and so because they were some of these, well, I'll use these words, you tell me if I shouldn't use these terms to describe these people, these girls that go on the games, and basically it's all about them and not about at all what they're playing or the content of the game. Is that fair to say?
You know what? I'm not going to comment on what their kind of content is because I'm going to be honest. I don't watch their content.
That's fair.
I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm just, but I mean, some of them do that. Some of them don't. I'm gonna like obviously there's content out there that I made that decision very early on that I didn't want to ever be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where my boundaries came from. Um, I'm a married man. I can't control what other people say, and I knew that very early on, so I made that boundary. You know, and I stuck by it.
So there.
And I
Yep.
just sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, so there was an issue simply you not joining the game that they other people were playing
Yes,
in, and
yes.
and who made this an issue?
You know what, man? I don't even know how it happened. I was in, I think just one day somebody tweeted, um, this JasonR guy keeps dodging, or not keep, or maybe it was. I think it might have been a girl that I dodged a game out of, or something like that. Something, and there was a tweet, and then from that tweet, it just exploded.
And you didn't give any like official explanation or anything like a statement that I don't want to play with X person because of anything. You just didn't join it. You just didn't do it.
I quietly, I lied about it. I'd close my game, and I'm streaming, so I'd be like, oh man, I crashed. Sorry guys, my game crashed because I didn't want that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get into it. Like I tried to just quietly, just exit, right? And um, that kind of turned and kind of bit me in the ass a little bit. But yeah, that's what would happen. That's yeah. There wasn't really any particular person or anything. It was just yeah.
So you don't want to play this game, and then somebody tweets out about it, and then people start saying things about you because you said you're a married man. You're a Christian guy as well?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that I'm religious.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that completely.
Just a man that just has, I'm more oriented more for family values.
Mm-hmm.
Family. That is what I want. That is what I believe in. I'm a one woman man, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. And so, I don't know if we want to mention any names here, but some of the bigger streamers started talking about you. And then, so was there some sort of levy of backlash against you over this in the community?
Oh my God, man. Unbelievable amount.
Help us understand, because people don't. I'm sure anyone who watches my channel or follows some of my stuff is pretty well versed in games, but help the others understand like the enormity of the size of these accounts of people that are they're talking about you on this.
Oh, sorry. What was your question about?
How big are these accounts of these people? Yeah, that are talking
that were
about
hating
you?
on me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro! These accounts, like you could. They're millions and millions of follows, millions of impressions, millions through all of the social media, right? Like every website, like they are massive creators, influencers.
And what were they saying about you?
Well, they pretty much called me a sexist, and they said that I was misogynistic. They said that man, they were even coming at my wife, like saying that we both need to go to therapy. And you know what? It just like all of that, right? That comes with like that all of that stuff is what they were saying. Like, so just crazy.
So have you said anything when they're attacking you? Are you responding to these directly? Are you making any public statements about it? No.
So when this happened, we were getting attacks like online, like email, death threats, stuff like that. I was getting it. People that were attacking my wife.
Death threats?
Were like, oh my God, bro, are you like a ridiculous amount?
That's
like a ridiculous amount, bro. Like you can't even. It was yeah. And anyways, so I guess you could say that I played a very passive role, because at that time I was more so worried about personal life. I really wanted to kind of separate the two. My wife and I, we were trying to have a baby. We were trying to keep things very stress-free. And I tried my best to just stay very low key. I didn't really want to, you know what I mean? I didn't want to stir anything else up, so yeah, that's kind of, I didn't really respond to a lot of hate. I didn't respond to emails. I was streaming, but I kept my head down.
Up until this happened, had you been involved in any controversy at all?
Yeah. So back in 2016 or something like that, it might have been a little older, it might have been somewhere around there. Somebody came into my stream one time, or I guess this wasn't really controversy, but I got banned on Twitch because somebody asked me about some titty streamer or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, something like that, right? Some girl streamer, and I was like, man, like these titty streamers are hoes. Like, be careful. Like these girl streamers, they're hoes, man. And I said hoes, and then in the email, I got banned for hate speech because I said hoes. They titled it hoes. They said hoes you're not allowed to call people hoes. It is deemed hate speech. I was banned for 14 days or 15 days, something like that.
You can't be mean. It's always the rule. No being mean.
Can't be mean unless it's on them. Unless they can be mean. I can't be mean.
So after So these people are calling you out for not wanting to join this game, and they've extrapolated all of this stuff from that you're a misogynist and a
Yeah.
sexist because you don't want to be involved in this. What were the where do they what claims are they making to back this up other than the fact that you just don't want to be associated with them? That sounds pretty narcissistic to say just because person doesn't want to talk to me or be in a room with
Oh,
me
man.
that they must be crazy.
You just hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. Because there was nothing else. I didn't say anything mean. I said nothing rude to any girl or anything. I just didn't talk to them. I didn't play with them. And that was literally, I stayed in my own lane, like as best as I can play it. All I did was stay in my own lane.
Can you imagine that in a real life scenario, how
Oh,
ridiculous that would be? To be
dude,
like, I don't just walking away from somebody actually
all
in
I
real
did was
life.
exit the room. All I
Yeah.
did, like if you were to put it in real life terms, I would enter a room and then I would exit the room. You know what I mean? And then to be
Yeah.
called, like it's brutal, man. And anytime, and the crazy part is like anytime I talk about this in real life, like you know what I mean? My family, my friends, my real, in real life conversations, you have this conversation, and they'll be like, what? They'll be like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Why are people freaking out? Like, man, I was trending. Jason R was trending on Twitter for a week and a half. Like you see now, like you go look on Twitter, the people trending. It's like LeBron James. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you see the things that are trending are that, you know. So how the hell blew up to that extent just goes to show you like what the hell happened. Like what is going on with people?
What does what would they say? Would like? Have you ever expressed any like opinions like that could even be deemed? Are you talking about anything on?
Misogynistic?
Not even that, just something that these people would attach it to. Because it sounds to me like a story where somebody said something like they like Trump or they don't believe men can be women or something like this, and then they attack it. Or is this the environment in this, let's call it a community, that these other people attacking you are, where it's just like if you disagree with anything, even by not even just playing with them, that you are to be outcast in some way.
This is just the environment.
Hmm.
They did attach that me calling titty streamers back in the day, like when I got banned, they attached that to this to and that's where they came from. But this is the environment that this game has created, that this internet community has become.
And this is now, I know there's a few other platforms. These people are successful on many platforms, is what you're saying. So they basically,
Yes.
I don't know, did they make videos directly calling you out, and then that was the
Yes.
result of that? Okay, what was that like?
Oh man, dude, like it was, and it wasn't just, oh man, it was just brutal, man. Like it was just like you
So,
have these people who
mhm.
have just massive, massive communities that will believe anything that they say. And so if they deem you XYZ, well, their community believes it wholeheartedly. There's nobody's questioning anything. If their streamer believes something, then that must be 100% facts. And that is
Mhm.
what happened.
Now,
People were coming into my stream calling me they were calling me a pedophile. They
hmm.
were calling me insane, insane things, legitimately based off of me just exiting the game.
Now I've seen this stuff dozens of times, right? So if it sounds like I'm prodding at you, it's for the people who don't believe that things that are this ridiculous can happen. So my guess, without having seen any of the videos in particular you're talking about, would be they're saying Jason R didn't want to play in this lobby or in this room. Look what he said in 2015. He probably believes in all of this. We've dug up other things he said that you could loosely connect to his feelings about this. Look how bad of a person he is. Is that basically how it went?
Exactly. Exactly.
See how this can be predicted, people.
Yeah, like that's exactly it. Exactly.
So how do you react to this now? Are we just going full steam ahead? Let's just move past it. And how do your fans feel about it? How do the people that watch you? Is this something that really bothered them? I'd imagine there's a good at least 10% of people who watch you regularly, of the hundreds of thousands, that have probably, I would hope, sent you some feedback or messages of support.
You know what, man? I've had a lot of support. I think, I mean, I kind of just want, like, I've almost played this. I feel like I'm like this leader of kind of like these values, right? Because I'm not the only man that has done this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've had people reach out to me. I've had people in my chat. Like as far as it happened so long ago, but man, I live it every day. Everyone, there's not a day that goes by where somebody doesn't come into the stream and call me a sexist or call me a misogynist or, oh, hey man, it's the guy that hates women, or it's the guy that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, I mean, at this point, it's been so long that
How long ago was it?
Affect me. So it happened in 2023 or 2022.
And it's still happening.
Still to this day.
Are people still making videos about it too?
Yes. People still tweet at me. People still make they make tweets, like not particularly at me, but they'll make a tweet like a video, or like still to this day.
What do you think it is? And I find this particularly pervasive in sports journalism and in the gaming community, particularly from the larger outlets and people who support, like terrible games. Like, what was the one that that EA closed after 2 weeks? I'm blanking on that. The space shooter.
Oh yeah, I know what game you're talking about, but yeah. I don't remember either.
The people that support these games. What is it about this field that perpetuates so much of this? Because you see it in the demand for stuff like Dragon Age, where they're putting out these games that hundreds of millions of dollars go into, Suicide Squad, and they're like, this is what people are going to play, and then they lose $100 million on it, and they're like, what happened here? Why do you think these types of themes keep perpetuating, especially in the gaming community?
I think that it's just these people are just a lot louder. Mm-hmm. They're a lot louder. So, when you have these, devs of these games go and they look for what's going to do well, they'll go look at things, and these people are they're just a lot, their opinions are just out there a lot more than others, I guess, if that's the right way of putting it. I feel, does that make sense?
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
My thought.
So, that's fine.
I know. Yeah.
No, something I've noticed is a lot of it, what happens at these large developers is they hire a group, especially when it comes to writing the storylines. They'll hire a group of developers who will say, we've got the perfect people to write your story for them. And then they hire this group of people that they know. And then that group says, we've got some people who edit storylines to make sure they're more diverse, or they're being more inclusive, and they're writing, they've written for these charities and everything, and they'll bring these people in. And a lot of it ends up, when you start digging into it, is people, circling money around to their mm-hmm. buddies who are ideologically similar, and you end up with a very crappy game in the end. And that has lost studios hundreds of millions of dollars, which is
keeps
insane.
Happening.
Yeah, which is
keeps
insane.
Happening.
Because if you got $100 million, I'm pretty sure, any regular guy who plays games would probably put out a fantastic game if he was in charge of that much money. Yeah. But most of these people end up putting out something that's slop. Yes.
Everyone is just, these game devs right now, they're listening to just louder opinions, and then they're just recycling content that they think is going to do well. And it's just over and over and over again. In the last years, man, it's like just recycled content. Recycled. And I don't know what they're thinking.
Something else that I read was that it talked about you pointing out, well, This is what one of your people said, that you've seen a bunch of stuff pop up where it was like there's non-binary leagues and people are taking advantage of this. Is that
Yes.
something you're okay to talk about?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's the GC. There's I think it's called the GC. I don't even know what it stands for, to be honest. But it's the Girls Valorant League, the Girls
Okay.
Valorant League, and you have obviously the non-binary, and you have the trans girls that are in this league. So I don't
So
really.
yeah, it's okay, Jason. You can't. I think the worst has already happened to you. Don't worry.
That's very true. That's very true.
So people are taking advantage of this and winning it is what you've seen. Is my guess.
Well, you know what, man? I this is a situation that has come up a few times that I've seen other people say. Again, I've been out of Valorant I played CounterStrike for the last, I just started playing Valorant again in the last month. But before that, from about 2022 or 3, right, kind of half a year after the drama, I started playing CounterStrike.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of been out of the whole Valorant scene. I don't really know much about the leagues, but I do know that there are, there's definitely a chance that there's some men out there that have joined that league and, hey, I'm non-binary. Let me hop in. Let me join this league. And you know what?
Is that by self-identification only? That's
I
all that's
guess I
required?
don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know exactly, what the process is of identifying people, but that's definitely what I think happened. And there was just recently some massive drama on the GC right now. So again, this just came out just yesterday. I don't know how, because this is kind of serious. There's a rape allegation. Somebody just tweeted out a third party person just tweeted out a big long twit longer talking about how the best player in GC, okay, is a trans girl,
Mm-hmm.
and she has been accused of raping another girl. Now, that's just what I've read on the Twitter. I didn't even read it myself, but that's just what's happening. That's just and this happened yesterday or something like that, and people are just going crazy.
And this is all alleged, Your Honor. It is all hearsay and not our personal recollection. And for all the
Yes.
other legal terms, that's what I always say.
Thank you.
Here's my tip, Jason. In any conversation where you may or may not think you're being recorded, just say hearsay, Your Honor. And then when they read that out in court, you can say they'll say this. He said now, this is hearsay, Your Honor. I don't actually know what I'm talking about. And that'll be read out in court verbatim as
Thank
if
you.
you're welcome.
See, I'm
and
new
it's
at
hilarious.
this. I'm new at this, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hearsay, Your Honor. If you even say it in the Alex Jones voice, it's the Patriots are in control. It's all we're speculating. Is the CounterStrike community better? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's an old game that's still top 3 on Steam or something.
It's massive. I mean, there's a whole other thing about CounterStrike that, yeah, they're a very popular game, but the way the numbers show is not. I don't think it's very accurate personally.
What do you mean?
I don't know about, if you know Counter-Strike, there's drops, there's cases, and you open cases to get the knives, and the knives are worth thousands of dollars. Well, there's a lot of the players that are saying, or that Counter-Strike says they're playing, is in the millions, but it's been proven there's a lot of bots farming the cases to try to sell the cases because they're all worth money. So the actual player base of Counter-Strike and that number that shows on Steam is not accurate, in my opinion. But
that's insane. Have you heard about and I did a story on this, about what Call of Duty was allegedly, of course, Your Honor, caught doing with their PC players? Have you heard about how they've been using their, what is it? Basically their free computing power. When they're offline, running simulations, running simulations using people's computing power when they're not on.
For crypto?
Because what they're doing is, basically matchmaking schemes where they'll purposely put somebody up against another person with better weapons to encourage them to buy those or encourage them to keep playing. So they're running simulations with bots to see how they can better do that. Not only are they doing that, but have been experimenting with creating bots that are super close to the skill level, like custom bots to the person, right? So they'll have a person join a room, which could be completely full of bots. This person has no idea. They're designed to emulate human people, human players, even right down to their profile, and they will purposely make them a bit better. So the competition level is still there. This is Call of Duty, everyone, by the way. The competition level's still there, but this bot that you might be against, they'll have a few better extra weapons than you. They'll have a few better this and that and the other that are purchase only, that are DLC only, just to entice you. Hey, you could probably beat this guy if you got these. If you picked up this weapon, you know, you probably killed them once you picked up their weapon and got to see how it is. But you could probably be this good if you just paid for this stuff. That. Yeah, so they're running simulations against people at all times, allegedly. According to this, they have patents about this that I reported on. And then when you're not playing, if you're a PC player, they can probably do it on Xbox and PlayStation as well, but that wasn't in there. When they're not playing, people are, I guess they're agreeing to let Activision use their computing power to run these simulations so that they don't have to use like their own servers, essentially.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? I've heard that same thing before, but people were farming crypto. This happened back in the day in CounterStrike. So in CounterStrike, you have you have to run an anti-cheat to play in the higher leagues. The higher, like for the better players, you have to run an anti-cheat, and those anti-cheats are made by third parties. And this happened years ago, years and years and years ago. The anti-cheat was caught using people's computing power to farm Bitcoin. This was in like I don't even know, this was like 2013 or 14, like years and years and years ago. So, but that's crazy.
Where was that based out of?
Well, it was an anti-cheat. They were called ESCA, and it was all in NA. It was all in North America. I don't exactly know, but they got caught doing it, and
yeah, it's basically like, in my opinion, my non-legal opinion, of course, it's like you're scamming children, basically, because you got to imagine the amount, especially Call of Duty, very young audience, and you're basically trying to digitally manipulate them to buy things and use mom and dad's credit cards. Yeah, I'll send that to you later. It's actually really crazy. Do you think that this stuff? What do you think? And I know you probably haven't thought about it yet until I literally brought it up right now. Do you think that there should be more regulation around this stuff? And if so, like in your experience, how can people stop this from happening? Because we all see when we turn on the games, it says like anti-cheat software in use, whatever that one's called.
Yeah.
Is there a real way, or is somebody always a step or 10 ahead of it?
Well, nowadays, man, it feels like games are, I mean, I guess it had to be like this. Games are now going for the microtransactions instead of buying the game, right? Except Call of Duty, who just didn't care. But now you have people who are being forced to buy the microtransaction, and especially in Call of Duty. You know what? I never really played I used to play Call of Duty back in the day. I got sick of how it's just so recycled content, game after game after game. I just got sick of it, man. I just got sick of it. I don't like it, so I'm not really too involved in that. I'm not really sure exactly how the skins work. So you have to buy skins in that game, and the skins are actually better. It's not just cosmetic. In Call of Duty? No, I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't played it since not World of War, but like Black Ops 2 probably, or 1. So I haven't played in at least a decade because I hated it. Yeah, so
I guess it would depend if they're making it where you have to buy the skins, and the skins are actually better and make you at a competitive advantage in the game. I mean, I feel like that's ridiculous.
I think it's actual weapons as well.
Like actual better.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Well, see,
probably there's skins that gives you a bit of an advantage, but either way, it's stuff that you have to buy to unlock that will make you better. So it's probably a little bit
better and put you at a more competitive advantage.
Yeah.
See, now that's just crazy.
And
that's crazy. If that's true, I think that's crazy. That's unbelievable.
And the thing about the competitiveness of it is they will put you in And I had this problem a long time ago. I don't know if you ever played the NHL games where they want you to play more, so they'll make it more competitive, and they'll just like, oh, we're gonna. That's been proven too. That was proven long before my research that they're, they'll extend like the spawn invincibility for somebody who's doing worse, or you'll get, if you're doing too well, you'll be spawned in a place where you'll be easily shot. So all this sort of stuff that they've been caught doing, they're not stopping. Like they have literally like dozens of patents that specifically say stuff like a program that can make a player's profile indiscernible from a human's profile. And because when they've tried to do it manually, people can still tell. Or when they've tried to do it like using their other methods, people can still tell based on what's written in the profile. So they're like hard at work at this. They didn't respond to the questions. What a surprise that I had for this. But this is the sort of thing people deal with. So
I remember back in the day when I mean, this was, I haven't really thought about this in a long time, but back in the day when I was playing Valorant, oh man, what was it called? Whatever. I'll just explain. I don't remember what it was called. But what they do is they specifically set up your lobbies. So you're in a 5v5. They specifically set up your lobbies with a skill level that will keep you playing more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And I forget what it was called, but this was it was hearsay, so I don't know if this was proven. Obviously, I'm fairly certain that this is a real thing. But I remember people were talking about it. There were some articles about it back in the day when I played Valorant, and I mean, I think it's. I mean,
look it up here.
Yeah, let's see. This was for Valorant. Oh man, I forget what it was called. Valorant MMR. Skill difference. What was it called? It was called a specific. And there was a big article on it, and it was popular. I remember people coming to my stream and talking about it. So there must have been something. There was there was people talking about it. It gained a little bit of traction. I don't remember what it was called, man. It was years ago.
So one of them was called Systems and Methods for Driving Microtransactions in Multiplayer Video Games. That was one of Activision's patents.
Okay.
And it said, oh, I'm getting paywalled on my own article. So this is what they have to. This is what they do. They file these patents specifically designed to get people to play more. And if you want to look
play
it up,
more and buy more.
Yeah, if you want to look it up and you want to, really quickly pay for it through the website, Jason, and make it visible to you. Activision.
Well, I paid for it, but I don't have my wallet.
Exactly. It's an escrow. Activision is frightening programs meant to mimic humans.
No, but man, like especially with AI now too, like this is you're not just hopping into a game anymore. You're hopping into a psychological, almost like it's not just a game nowadays. It's they're tricking you into playing more now. It's actually crazy, dude. It's crazy.
You might call it a info war.
Yeah, and now with cheats too, with hacks, man, like there's AI hacks, and now there's apparently going to be AI anti-cheats, and so I come from like I don't know if you know my background, but I was a pro CS:GO player.
Yeah, I did read that.
So I have been playing at the top level of FPS shooters since I was like 12 years old. So as far as anti-cheats and all of this stuff, like it's pretty relevant to my stream and my content and all this.
Okay, was this what you were talking about? So I've signed into my paid Blaze News account. Activision in 2020, players in multiple forums complained that Activision was changing player attributes in a real time based on their skill level to make individual interactions with other players more competitive. For example, if a better player interacted with a lesser skilled player, the better player's accuracy, hitbox, aim assist, player health, and damage dealt would be altered to give the lesser skilled player a better chance. So that's one of them.
Odd.
I'll bring this up right now. Here we go.
I'll be able to see?
Yeah. Okay. In 2025, I just want to show some of these patents. So this is another scary thing. Let me blow it up here. An image in the patent describes a video game streamer's face, so that's you, where the expressions, reactions, and movements are tracked in real time. Simply put, images of a user's face are constantly taken to be able to create a 3D model of his face and track his expressions in relation to events that are happening in the game. In the patent that pushed microtransactions, player satisfaction is mentioned as a factor by which Activision determines the gamer is enjoying his or her experience. This player engagement factor is calculated in part by a player's level of focus, which is determined, according to the patent, from camera peripherals, whether greater engagement may indicate greater satisfaction. Additionally, biometric factors are measured, such as facial expressions, pulse, body language, sweat, etc. We asked Activision about this. They did not respond. So basically, Jason, they're allegedly scanning your face to see how happy you are.
They're watching. They're watching us.
To see how happy you are when certain things happen. Yes.
Oh, my God. That is crazy.
Here's the thing that I was talking about.
And what are they using this for? They're using this for to know what is making players happy.
Yes, so that they can keep feeding that.
So say they pick up a skin that makes you happy. They're like, okay, they like this skin. Let's make more of this skin so they buy more. That's what's happening.
Let's put you up against a guy who has this so you can see how great it is. Another patent from Activision that didn't garner media attention. Sign up for blazenews.com, everybody, to read it all. System and method for transparently styling non-player characters in multiplayer games. The patent specifically describes styling NPCs so that it is difficult to distinguish between human players and computer-controlled NPCs. The NPCs may be styled to resemble humans in both their player profiles and their gameplay actions in such a way that players, quote, may not recognize NPCs as non-human computer-controlled characters. This would be coupled with limiting the information from player profiles to make it harder to discern if a user is a human or a computer. So they'll purposely make some of their profile not available so you can't tell that they're computers. In order to tailor a favorable experience, they would implement NPCs that appear to be human while hiding profile information. And then matchmaking. Let's see. Bases. Here's the part. Yeah, see, I even went down to the patent number. Excellent research by me from last year. Excellent. So using your PC against... using your
PC the paywall. It's worth the paywall.
Thank you. I got your endorsement. Another patent is methods and systems for continuing to execute a simulation after processing resources go offline. So this is what I was saying. This patent outlines how to use an end-user device can be used to participate in a simulated NPC gameplay session. Activision patented a system that identifies end-user devices that are still connected to its system but are idle or in standby state and uses the customer's computer to participate in a simulation. An end-user device may be available when it has sufficient computing capacity, such as when it's idle or standby, the patent says. As such, the system may leverage spare computing capacity of networked end-user devices to execute NPCs at networked end-user devices during a simulation. So they're using your computer to run NPC simulations while you're not playing.
Oh my God. And then they put these NPCs against other players.
Yes.
Near the same skill level. So that oh my God, bro.
See if there's anything else I haven't mentioned.
You know, I remember back in the day they talked about how some streamers were using a VPN to join a Call of Duty lobby, and all of the players that they were playing against were bots, so that the streamer could look really good.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? And I was like, okay. I mean, I wasn't in the Call of Duty scene, so I didn't really know exactly how it worked. But it just seems crazy.
So this might be what you were talking about from 2017, System and Method for Driving Microtransactions. And this is right from the patent, which I can, just so everybody knows that we're talking about real stuff here. These are Google patents that we're referring to. So they're not, it's right there. You can see United States, Activision, it's still active. Activision Publishing Incorporation's right here. So these are real things. And they're still active. A system and method, A system and method is provided that drives microtransactions in multiplayer video games. The system may include a microtransaction to arrange matches to influence game-related purchases. For instance, the system may match a more experienced marquee player with a junior player to encourage the junior player to make game-related purchases of items possessed and used by the marquee player. A junior player may wish to emulate the marquee player by obtaining weapons or other items the marquee player may use.
Wow.
So that is some fun stuff.
That is crazy, man. Bro, you're not just playing games anymore. Nowadays you're hopping into a psychological
yeah,
MMR system that is somehow tricking you into keep playing and buying their microtransactions.
It's a good thing I don't really like Call of Duty. My initial problem with it was, me and my friends hadn't played for years, and we're like, let's give it another chance after however many years. And we booted up. We're all playing in the same room, and then just dead silence for 10 minutes until one of us is like, does this suck? and
it's so true.
It was like a race to who could press the button quicker. There's no recoil. There's no strategic setup or anything.
You know what? There's a whole competitive scene in Call of Duty that I don't know much about. I know there's great players, and I know there's a skill gap there. But man, does the game suck if you're just hopping in and you're just trying to play and you're just chilling. Like, holy crap. And it's just, again, I said this earlier, it's recycled content into it's somehow it's tricking people into buying it. Mm-hmm. And it's like Call of Duty is the only game that now you have to buy the game and you have to buy the microtransactions to even be at the same level as other players.
Yeah, the only way they're going to learn is if people stop buying it. And there are free games that are better out there, which is why I have to believe it's like 16 years old and younger that is driving. Mm-hmm. The same thing with like Madden or something. People complain about the game every single year, then stop buying it. Like that's the only way around it, I think.
I think it's just a very casual game. You have somebody that maybe they just got off work, they want to go play a quick, run around, shoot thing, explosions, whatever, and then hop off, right? Like they just hop off, like very kind of like that sort of demographic,
touch and go,
right? Touch and go.
We can't stand for that, Jason. Not us Canadians.
Not me. No. I've always been I was playing CounterStrike. Have you ever played CounterStrike?
Yeah, I used to play it a lot when I was 14.
Yes.
That's not an insult, by the way. I still play lots of video games.
It's a very hard, time-consuming game. It's a very high skill gap game. And so I swear, bro, if you started playing Counter-Strike and you went to Call of Duty afterwards, you were like, I can't. This Call of Duty is not for me, because you're playing Counter-Strike, and you know what? I'm better than you, so I'm gonna kill you. Like I'm gonna kill you in the game. I'm better than you. I'm gonna kill you. I've spent more time in the game. I should be better. Call of Duty, it just seems like you're just hopping on. Anybody can kill anybody at any time. There's such a low skill gap.
Yeah, because they're using these patents to make sure you have a great time.
Yeah, they're tricking the demographic into thinking they're having fun, when in reality they're not.
Oh, I'm so close to winning this. I better just play another one.
I better just buy this weapon.
Exactly. That's
to get a little better.
The thing about when you put Call of Duty next to other games, like I really enjoyed when Battlefield Bad Company and a couple more after that. That's where you put that next to Call of Duty and it just blows it out of the water. So I couldn't go back. I couldn't take the step back down.
Somehow Call of Duty has just blown every game as far as popularity wise out of the water. Somehow, I don't know. Must be the patents.
Yeah, Concord just came to mind. Was the other one that failed?
Concord. Oh yeah, that's the one that they closed.
Mm-hmm.
They closed that game, right? Yeah. I remember that. There was a little bit of drama or whatever going on with that, right? What kind of game was that though?
That was like a space shooter. Yeah.
Was it a third person or first person?
I believe it was. I don't know.
I don't remember, but I know that it came out. I know there was like it just crashed and burned.
They decided morbidly obese alien women was the way to go.
Really? Did they have that in the game? It was very woke.
With pronouns.
With
Robots with
pronouns.
pronouns, yes.
Yeah.
Robots and pronouns.
Nice.
$300
Nice.
million or so later, maybe it was 150. It was over $100 million. And 2 weeks into its launch, they literally just shut down the servers and like you can't buy it anymore. They took it off the shelves. They took it off the literal and physical shelves.
Oh my God. You know what, man? It's these games. It's gonna keep happening. It's gonna keep happening because I swear I don't know what the hell happened in internet society or the internet world now, man, where people are just like, nobody knows what's going to do well anymore because of people's opinions that are completely wrong. They're just the loudest, like that's what's happening. They don't come to, they're not going to come to me. They're not going to come to people like me and ask, hey man, what do you like about these games now? They're not going to come to me. They're not going to come to you. They're going to come to,
Well, have you noticed that?
We're just lost.
Have you noticed that a lot of the worst ones are in Canada, though? A lot of the companies, especially Montreal, also. But who is it? Crystal Dynamics. There's one that's out in like Edmonton that when they re-released Lara Croft Tomb Raider, they censored it because they were angry about. Pardon?
I'm not too sure. I don't really know much about the game developers' location and stuff like that. I'm not really positive. I'm not sure. The
worst ones are out in Canada, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah. Especially the Quebec ones, Ubisoft, and they're just so what they have there is they have a bit of a network in Quebec, my father's homeland. They have a good network of the publishers, and then they use these consulting agencies who review their storylines, and they add in, their prescribed diversity. Literally, this is what they say.
Yes.
Sweet God, Baby Inc., I believe, is the most popular one, and they boast about it on their website. They've worked on Spider-Man, they've worked on God of War, and they say we make your storyline more attractive to diverse audiences and stuff like that. And this is literally how it happens. They send money to these companies and they write in,
what
they them zer.
Yep.
And they go from
Canada
there.
Is liberals, man. Again in Canada. How did it happen?
Now we're drawing it out of you. We're drawing the rage out of you.
Sorry. I came in
pretty,
you are drawing it out of me.
That's right.
It's crazy, man, how they it's just, how did Canada do that? How? It's like, I just can't believe it, man. Not to get too political. Sorry, not to get too political.
You get as political as you want, young man.
Okay.
You don't let them hold you down. All right,
man. You know what? That's Twitch's demographic. They're liberals, man. They it's crazy. It's crazy out there.
Jason, this is getting cut out of context. Put on somebody. See, we told you about him.
We told 100%, man, 100%. But you know, at this point, you can't get canceled twice.
No,
and
exactly.
That's kind of how I've that's kind of how I've been streaming. It's like at this point, I'm not going to hold anything back. I've never been that type of person. I've never been that type of streamer. I've always tried my best to be myself, and that's one thing Twitch has just doesn't exist anymore. People nowadays, they build their communities and they are the person that they think that their communities want them to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Nowadays, you're not watching anybody that's themselves anymore. You are watching a fake persona, a shell of the streamer you're watching. That is who you're watching nowadays, because everyone is scared. Everyone is scared. They're so scared of their own communities that they've built. And that is what is happening with Twitch. Back in the day, I've been streaming on Twitch since 2015. So it's actually been 10 years. And man, back in the day, I used to watch a stream and you could tell, like, you could be like, yo, man, this guy's being real. This guy's being himself. And now it's like, it is rare to find somebody like that now. Everyone is putting on a show. Everyone, and I get that we're all in the entertainment industry, so you have to put on a show. But what happened to being entertaining and not trying to pander to your community. You know, like be yourself. Like that doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't, truly.
Do you think now is the time for people to be able to orient towards, you know, some of more of the values that you've shown, where I can put Jason on in front of my, you know, let's whatever 13-year-old, and I don't have to worry about what he's going to promote on there. You can just watch him play a game and that's going to be fine. Do you think there's more room for that now?
So what do you mean? Because I, like, for me personally, I mean, I swear, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't cater to a younger audience. I'll just be honest. I don't cater personally. I gamble. I play my shooter games. I swear. I tried. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be like, you know, buddy.
So you're just a normal guy, essentially.
A normal guy gaming with my boys, and that's what I do.
And they've purposely pushed away from that. These platforms.
Yes.
They've purposely pushed away from normal guys. They want to push towards the new normal, use a tired phrase.
You should go see the Twitch. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, the guys in the girls' competition and etc. This is what they want the new standard of Twitch to be, or these platforms.
I don't know if that's what they want. I don't know if this is just something that's happened. But, man, like, the Twitch front page. The Twitch front page is a bunch of people, a bunch of girls twerking, a bunch of dudes throwing money at them. Like, it's like what the hell happened? What happened to content, bro? What happened to playing games? You can't even. People, popularity used to be, yo, man, you were funny, you were playing the game, and now it's like, what kind of, you know, what kind of content you gotta twerk, you gotta do all this, like what the hell happened? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I
know.
have to think that at the top of some of these companies there is a directive push, but there's also a concerned effort to put people in positions of power. But I wouldn't think that these things would happen in the gaming community. So a lot of it, you're right, it's the loud minority of people, not literal minority, the small group number of people. It's a small number of people.
A small group,
who want to push these things, and they'll do it. And in a lot of cases, I think they purposely go for these jobs. Storyline telling in gaming, script writing in movies, and if it's a regular company, human resources and public relations. I went to school for public relations. I worked in it for a couple years. It's terrible. It's a lovely life of lies.
Yes.
And when I get
and all these streamers have that.
Exactly.
They have that guy. Like, yeah, all of them do.
And when
telling them how to act.
Yeah, when you start to see it in the big companies and people who've investigated this, they find sometimes, like I interviewed somebody who spoke to some of the biggest companies in the country, beer companies, car companies. Sometimes the people in the boardroom don't know this is happening. Sometimes that's a bad excuse, but also they don't realize that their HR department or their public relations department is filled with people who are just like, you know, you just gotta put the obese space woman in the game, that sort of thing. It's just what people want.
100%. That's what people love. That's what everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants that.
You know, we want to see Batman, and I'll let you go after this. I want to see Batman and Suicide Squad be killed by Harley Quinn or whatever happened to that, or groped by Harley Quinn. That's the one that lost him $200 million. But if it was the other way around, oh man, they're coming for you.
Yeah, it is.
Not
crazy.
Again, Batman.
You know what, man? It's just crazy what's going on nowadays. It's just the world, especially the internet itself, is it's just crazy, man. Like so different than what it was just a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I miss the days where you go on the internet and you go directly to a page, to a forum. I'm so old. Directly to a page. A forum. I'm going directly to the sports website. I'm not using Google for everything.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
At some point, it changed. It all changed, and the world left me behind.
Don't know what happened, man.
It was Mark Zuckerberg. We're just gonna blame Zuckerberg.
But you know what? Things are changing now. There's been there's a shift. there's been a shift, man. Even with me being canceled, bro, like I just started playing Valorant again, and it's like back in the day when I used to play Valorant, just after I got canceled, it was like, oh man, like you could see maybe one or two, maybe three people that were like, yo, what are you guys talking about? Like, why are you guys freaking out?
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays you have people coming to my stream showing love, showing support. You know, people are like, man, you know what? I was young back then. And you know what? I'm a little bit older now, and I get it. I get it. Like, I understand why you do it. And and I'm getting, it's like there's been a shift in people that are, are like, what is this cancel culture? What is this? Like, it's crazy, and I think it was kind of a combination of Elon Musk and Trump and that type of thing. I think it's kind of making people finally think for themselves a little bit more than before.
Yeah, there's going to need to be, and this is what I've been trying to do, is combine these two worlds, because I'm in touch with some people. I don't know, have you heard of the Steam group called DEI Detected? You heard of that yet? I think it's up to 500,000 people. So this was This was a guy who got attacked for simply having, a recommended list. You can also not he's leaving a Steam curation list where he says, don't play this game because of who's involved with it. And he was attacked globally for that. So he started a group that's now up to 500,000 because he said, don't play this game because they're injecting ridiculous stuff into it. Yeah. And he became, CBC went after him, for example. You'll know CBC, most in the U.S. won't, but CBC went after him. A whole bunch of other, I think it was somebody in Kotaku went after him. People like that, just for saying, I wouldn't play this game. And he's a Brazilian guy. He's an innocent young Brazilian man just trying to make a Steam recommendation page. And
the crazy part about that is that the people who are attacking him, I don't truly feel like they believe that what he's saying is hateful. They turn it, they spin it because people want hate. People want drama. That's what drives clicks nowadays, which is happening all the time now. It's not that people believe someone is actually sexist or they don't believe someone that's actually racist. They don't believe that. If you were to talk to them, in real life, they'd probably be just normal, like wouldn't give a crap at all. But on the internet, they will try to spin every story. They'll try to change anything they can into sexist this, racist that, because that's what drives clicks now. That's the internet now. It's just full of people who are trying to manipulate audiences and communities because that's what people want to see. That's what people want to watch.
You can also they're also making sure that their paycheck is intact, because if you use my example of 100%. These consultancy group, there has to be hate out there. There has to be this vast desire for whatever you want to call it, DEI, or just most of the time it's just bad writing. If we look at Dragon Age Veilguard, just horrific writing. They have to create this demand, so they'll go out and find somebody. They'll go out and find JasonR being a bigot, and they'll be like, see, this is why we need this stuff. This is why we have to. This is why you got to get that grant from such and such government and give it to us, because we'll battle it for you through a game somehow.
We'll stop all bigotry through this game that we're going to put in, or through this YouTube video, or through this whatever. That is exactly it. Yeah.
This day in the park.
It's just a bunch of people trying to gain impressions, gain money through spinning any sort of story, anything they have into hate, man.
So exhausting. All right, Jason, I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Has it already been an hour?
It has been.
Holy. That was awesome.